If I gave a fuck what y'all think I would be doing this? Welcome to the FMFU podcast, the podcast that's from me, for us. Vulgar but true, real and never fake. I'm your host, Reese, and I've got a lot of shit on my mind today, so let's get into it. So lately I've been binge watching King of the Hill because the new season dropped and the person I am doesn't really want to watch the new season without watching all the old seasons. One thing I realized trying to binge through this shit is that, these shows back in the day used to feed us, man. Like, nowadays, you only get like 10 episodes a season, and then sometimes they even break that shit up. They give you like 3 here, 3 here, 4 here, 5 here, whatever. These back in the day shows used to be like 20 plus episodes a season. So like this binge is like taking me a lot longer than I had anticipated to catch up to watch the newest season. It's funny though, going back and watching this show, you see it in like a whole different lens now that you're an adult with kids. Like the jokes hit harder and are even more relatable than what you can remember as a 8, 9, or 10-year-old. One thing I did see on the internet recently is that the debate was when Hank Hill had voted for Donald Trump. Honestly, my guess, first time around, I don't really think so. But the second time around, oh, he definitely was going to vote for that motherfucker. Even if I am wrong about him voting for Trump, he definitely would have voted for Mitt Romney, John McCain, and especially George Bush, because Bush is from Texas where they sell a lot of propane and propane accessories. But anyways, happy Friday, people, and welcome to an all new exciting episode of the From Me For Us podcast. It's been a while. God damn. Listen, outside of me over here looking like one of the guys from Grove Street, life's been a little crazy these past couple weeks, between the more in-office days, working on all these fucking projects, and really just coming fresh off the plane from Greece. I'm tired, boss. A lot of people had reached out to me during the trip. And, I do want to say I had a very good time. I enjoyed myself. As a lot of you probably saw, I was acting a drunken fool with no shirt on in the club. But hey, that's life, right? But ironic enough, though, getting there, it was really a motherfucker. I will say that. Not even because of the flight length or anything like that, but Delta, they went and did some weird shit on me, man. I'm not going to lie. So, give a little bit of background. Originally, I had a flight booked a minute ago. Booked the flight, picked the seats. Typical shit, right? And the flight we had was going from Atlanta to Paris, and then from Paris directly to Santorini. Now, I had preferred that because it was honestly less continuous time on the plane, gave a chance to explore Paris for a little bit, not too long. And then you get to your final destination without any other transportation transitions, whatever. Man, let me tell you, day of the flight, Delta, without no notification, just apparently canceled the Atlanta to Paris flight entirely. But what they ended up doing is they rerouted the tickets from Atlanta to Athens, Greece, which then from Athens, you have to take another small airline from Athens to get to Santorini. The crazy thing about all this is that niggas was on standby for the first flight to go to Athens. How the fuck you on standby to catch a flight like this? I was slightly fucking annoyed because I'm just like, goddamn, niggas done paid for these tickets months ago, pick seats, all that, and you trying to tell me that we ain't got no fucking assigned seats? But luckily, there were 4 volunteers who decided to take the hour later flight. So we were legit the last 2 people to board the fucking plane. It was kind of crazy. So, you're looking at the board, you're like, oh shit, sister girl in the front talking about I'm handling it, but I don't see my fucking name on the board. What the fuck is going on? But ultimately, made it on the plane, finally got the tickets to get on or whatever. So once she prints out the fucking boarding passes, I asked hey, where's the boarding pass for the Sky Express flight, the flight to get me from Athens to Santorini? She's going to say, y'all get it when you get to Athens. Now, for any frequent flyers out there, you know damn well when you have a layover somewhere, you get both boarding passes at check-in, whether it's in your app or whether they print them out for you, you get both. But at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to argue. We legit the last 2 people on the plane because y'all fucked us. So long as I get to Athens, I'll just figure it out when I get there. Shit was weird, man. I couldn't even pull the passes in the app. It was still even showing the second leg of the trip from Paris still in there. But anyways, get on the plane, no biggie, 12 hours or whatever it was out. Get to Athens, got to go through customs. And I walk like, I swear to God, this walk was probably like 2 miles to get to like what would be considered their domestic or baggage claim area from the international side, which we had to go through from customs or whatever. Like this walk was so fucking long. Like imagine walking in the Atlanta airport from gate, let's say C or D to the baggage claim with no train. Like that's how long this fucking walk felt. Like it was like, what the hell is going on here? So essentially, they're like, y'all international niggas, y'all flying directly to America. Fuck y'all. Y'all got to walk far. Or if y'all come to the country, fuck y'all. Y'all got to walk to get to us. So, taking a walk. And then I'm just like, well, shit. Like having to go online, get through customer. Like, niggas only got like an hour before the other flight leaves. So, finally make it to the check-in area. I think it's like maybe 50 minutes until the flight departs. So, my thing is at this point, because you got to remember, the motherfucker never gave me my boarding pass for the second flight. So I'm just like, how the fuck do I get these boarding passes? Yo, this shit turned into the most runaround shit I'd ever had to do, especially because not other languages, there was still stuff in English, but like the signage sucks. And then you try to ask somebody for help, and these motherfuckers be acting like they have no fucking clue on how to help you. Like, sure, not the first person that's flown through there and had some type of issue like that. Like, I go through this bitch, I see no signs for Sky Express. So I'm just adventuring around, wandering around aimlessly trying to figure it out. So I venture to the one side, I finally find it. So I try to check in on the kiosk, but it doesn't work. But then I realize, oh shit, the only confirmation number I got is through Delta. This is through like a third party plane place. So I probably got to find them and talk to a person at the front. So I don't see anywhere to go except the baggage drop off. So I go to, even though I'm not dropping off a bag clearly. In the baggage drop off, get to the front. I'm like, hey, I need to get this ticket printed. I booked it through here, but y'all the partner airline. Boom, 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 boom. This motherfucker's like, oh, you can't check in or get a ticket because they done already started boarding. Mind you, it's like 40 minutes ahead of time. I'm like, oh, damn, y'all niggas board 40 minutes ahead? What kind of shit is that? Whatever. Not going to argue with you. Honestly, the nigga was inaccurate anyway, but that's besides the point. So then he tells me, oh, you need to go to the self-service desk. I go to the self-service desk, like, I'm in this line. It's just taking all fucking day, right? I finally get there. I'm like, yo, I need to get on this next Sky Express flight since I was unable to make mine due to the layover and shit. She thinks I'm trying to buy a flight. She's talking about it's 155 euros. I'm like, no, I already bought one. Then she's like, oh, I can't transfer this because you need to get whatever thing, I guess, to show that I bought the plane ticket from Delta. So I'm like, oh, I done stood in 2 fucking lines for no reason already and wasted my fucking time. So I get out of line, venturing around, I finally see something of Delta. Now at this point, it's not a Delta help desk or anything. It's just 3 lines for check-in for the 3 direct flights to Atlanta, JFK, or Boston. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hop in one of these fucking lines anyway, and I'm going to ask the girl to help me out on this computer over to the side. I go up, I ask her, she says she can help. I'm seeing her punch shit in. I'm just like, oh my God, are you going to be able to do it? Because it looked like she was struggling at first, and this computer looked like old school mainframe as fuck. So I was a little nervous if she was going to be able to, get what I needed to get done. But to my luck, she was able to change my shit through my Delta confirmation. But that's not it. That wasn't the end of it. I then, again, had to take that fucking invoice to show that I purchased the ticket through Delta and that they're a partner so that they could scan it so then they could print me out my Sky Express boarding pass. Yo, all my Hampton people out there, shout out to y'all. This shit felt like the fucking Hampton Runaround on steroids, the foreign edition. Not only the fact that this airport felt as busy as Atlanta's, but probably as small as maybe Boston's, but like no trains or nothing. So it's just like, move, bitch, like get the fuck out my way. But despite the initial runaround, in all actuality, you got to take your wins, right? Because I still technically got to my destination sooner than if I would have taken my original departed flight to Paris, because 9 times out of 10, getting through customs and shit there, talking to one of my friends who was on that same second leg, I probably would have got there later than I did because it happened to them and they had to end up catching the plane later and they didn't get until like 5 p.m. local time. So it all worked out. So ultimately, you got to take your wins. But it was a headache, but ultimately it was worth it because the trip was a great fucking time. Just gives me further confirmation that I need to travel more, but it also gives me more confirmation about y'all motherfuckers who are always talking about, oh, I'm moving out the country because of Trump. Yeah, I tell you one thing. If there is somebody that is out there serious about that shit, I hope you either got a bag, because if you don't pick no fucking Europe. I'm gonna tell you this, man. Them fucking euros is a motherfucker over there, boy. And the US dollar ain't stretching for shit in Greece or anywhere to take euros. Like every Uber at a minimum, at least specifically to Santorini, was a minimum of 40 euros. So a euro is like 86 cents in US dollars. So you do the fucking math. I was like, God damn, this is bullshit. But either way, other people asked me how the food was. The food was just decent. I felt like we had a lot of things kind of lined up already, from the dinner night to wedding itself, and then when we had the catamaran boat, like the venturing out that we did do. The most I think we had got really was like a Greek salad, which honestly that bitch was fresher than a motherfucker. But I will say this though, I'm so goddamn Americanized, man, because I be missing my goddamn seasonings. I tell you, the last night I was there, I ordered a double cheeseburger from McDonald's. I swear that was the best fucking sandwich I had in a long time. Like, no cap. But overall, it was a good time. Shout out to the Smiths on their 10-year vow renewal and giving another reason for the guys to get together. I definitely, like I said, I've been traveling a lot this year, but this felt like my real first, like, foreign trip to me. All that other shit, I be calling them nigga trips. Every island, every beach, every shit. Man, I be tired of that shit. I'm trying to see some real shit. So I kind of got the travel bug. And, I do see how all my, no kids, no spouse people really just blow all their fucking money on trips because the way I'm feeling right now, I'm definitely antsy. And I'm looking forward to what my next trip is going to be next year. With football season approaching, there's been a lot of talk about the Sanders boys. For my non-football folks, Shedeur Sanders, son of Deion Sanders, prime time, played quarterback for Colorado, underneath his father, of course, is the coach, and was ultimately drafted in the 5th round by the Cleveland Browns, which was a surprise due to a lot of scouts projecting he would be a top first round pick. A lot of the reasons for the conversation is because, of course, where he was selected, and the speculation began surrounding if teams were choosing not to select him due to his demeanor or whatever else the case is. From there, I think it kind of transformed into, him being 4th on the Browns depth chart at quarterback. And it started to create a lot of outcries on social media because of who was in front of him at the 2 and 3 spot. Now, as of the recording of this, he's technically in the 3 spot because they traded Kenny Pickett for some draft picks. So he is technically sitting at number 3. But there's still, of course, going to be those outcries, right? Now, I'm not surprised if there wasn't any type of conversation amongst these NFL teams in regards to Shedeur. I wouldn't be shocked if there was some type of conversation for sure. I'm sure there might have been some type of narrative floated around just based on perception, especially when you got to think about how people thought about Lamar Jackson when they were saying, oh, he needs to be a receiver and he doesn't need to play quarterback. And now he's a 2-time, should have been 3-time MVP. But there is a side of me that thinks like, talent beats all. And I think if he was really in practice being like the next Michael Vick or somebody, do we really collectively think that this franchise, my beloved hometown franchise that's only been relevant maybe once in the past 25 years, would be purposefully sabotaging the next big league quarterback? I mean, they already admitted that they fucked up with Deshaun. So it's not like they're like, oh no, we have to make the Deshaun thing right. It's like, it's kind of just over with that. So for the outcries and things on the internet, it doesn't really make sense to me. What it really looks like to me, being all the way objective, is that the franchise is treating a 5th round pick like a 5th round pick. And I think the coverage is only happening likely due to the 5th round pick's name and hype that we and even some of the scouts put on the player. And I thought about that because I'm like, okay, like everybody was shocked. Oh, he slipped all the way to the 5th round. It wasn't just people hype on the internet, but the scouts were saying that. So it did make you think that speculation. But I just gotta really truly believe that the way these owners are, they're cocky a lot of times to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a player and I'm gonna show you how I can make them work even if you couldn't. So even if a lot of people in the NFL were saying, oh,
don't pick him, he ain't no good. You're going to do what you want to do as an owner. And if he's showing out in practice and he's looking like the next big thing, you're going to roll his ass out there. At least that's what I would think. Right? But I mean, even if I think back to like college, when he was in college. So when he transferred with Dion over to Colorado, the Buffs, they first year with them, they were only like 4-8. They increased the next year to 9-4, which of course is a massive improvement because that team was like super bad. But it wasn't like they were like this top ranked team in the country. You know what I mean? Or like even a team that was ranked and made the playoffs and went far or like won the chip or something like that. I mean, they just lost in the Alamo Bowl. And even with this, you could say success, or I'll just say improvement based on how the team was going from 1 win to 4 wins to 9 wins. The hype kind of seemed to be overblown a little bit because Colorado decides to retire Shador's jersey. That was kind of strange to me. And I'm like, I mean, maybe yeah, because you brought awareness to the program, but I'm still a person that feels you got to be able to produce to get shit in the rafters, or get a number retired, in my opinion. Like, I understand them doing it for Travis Hunter because, he won Heisman. So you could say, okay, Heisman winner, play both ways on the field. We're going to retire your number. That seems strange to me when it happened. But of course, the culture. So, I let it rock. But I will say, that the culture shit, honestly, is part of the reason that I've come to the conclusion, too, that a lot of y'all on the internet really just don't know shit about football either. And why I say this is because when Shador was out there wheeling and dealing against backups, it was great to see because you never want to count anybody out, especially when you have a assumption there could be some type of collusion. But people was on the niggas literally on the internet talking about start that man, knowing damn well he's playing against backups. Now, granted, if your reasoning is because Flacco's old as fuck and he isn't in the future, and we're not going to win a Super Bowl with him anyway, yeah, okay, I understand that. Yeah, definitely start him. Let's make it fun, get reps to get better and maybe potentially be that guy. But people are screaming at and saying that just based on a preseason performance and nothing else. But I think a lot of this goes into play of where, like I said, not just the culture, but we get, kind of infatuated with the story, the name, and we kind of turned a blind eye to real shit. As much as I've critiqued the NFL and things they didn't do right in the past, I have a very hard time believing that they are colluding against this player to push him to the 5th round because they don't like that, he dropped a song called Perfect Time. Like, I mean, like, y'all niggas on the internet is the same niggas who out here screaming that Kaepernick need a job. The nigga 37, ain't played in 13 years, and took a payment for a collusion lawsuit in 2018. You think any coach gonna want to give that nigga a shot? Not even the coach, but the GM? I mean, I know if I was a GM, I sure as fuck wouldn't at this point. Like, then in regards to Shador brother Shiloh, who went undrafted to Tampa and got cut like 24 hours after punching the nigga. People on the internet complaining. Yo, bro, the nigga went undrafted, man, and stole on the nigga during a preseason game. You ain't Brian Urlacher, nigga. You got one opportunity to show these motherfuckers that you belong on the field. And you over here punching niggas? Come on, man. We got to take ownership of shit sometimes. And we deal with a lot of bullshit for sure. So it's so easy for us to just defend and protect our own, even when it seems like they're on nonsense, because if we don't protect ourselves, who's going to do it? But we sometimes got to understand we can't protect the bullshit we see in every circumstance that occurs. Like, we got to start putting on different lenses and being objective about things just so we can take accountability for our actions. I never want to be negative towards our own, like I said, and this might come off as harsh and crazy, but we don't want to pile on lack of ownership for things just because somebody's one of us. If whoever made a mistake and fucked up, they got to own that mistake and say they fucked up. It's just too hard out here to ignore the facts when you're somebody who's just as objective as me. We can love the culture, roof on, etc. But if someone ain't got it, they just ain't got it.
Thanks for listening to the FMFU podcast. Follow me on Facebook at FMFU Experience. I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at FMFU_experience. Also check me out on Twitch for some Warzone action at ReesePup007. Remember, people, life is a series of choices. Just make sure you make the right one. Peace.